Good day, and welcome to another edition of NBP Hotseat. My name is Zaf Coelho, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Mark Cojuangco. Now, in August 2022, the Philippines House of Representatives organized a special committee. This special committee was on nuclear energy and had elected Representative Mark Cojuangco as its chairperson. Comprising of 25 members, the panel was to be tasked to tackle all matters directly and principally related to the policies and programs to the production and utilization and conservation of nuclear energy, including the development of nuclear power infrastructure, as well as the interaction of other energy sources with nuclear energy, as it was deemed that nuclear energy was a reliable and cost-competitive and environmentally friendly energy source. And this was to ensure the energy security of the Philippines. Now, moving forward a couple of months later, or more specifically, more than a year ago, in March 2023, just last month, the House Committee on Nuclear Energy voted to approve a consolidated substitute bill for a comprehensive atomic regulatory framework creating for the purpose of the Philippines Atomic Regulatory Commission. Now, joining me here today to talk a little bit more further about the significance of this bill and nuclear energy in general for the Philippines, I have Mark. Mark, welcome to NBP Hotseat. How are you doing, Mark?
Hi, Zach. I'm fine. Nice to see you after such a long time. What can I help you with?
Yes, I mean, recently, as mentioned, there's been a great interest, or rather, I would say, a re-interest in the nuclear development scene in Philippines. Mark, I mean, we've known each other for many years. It is not the first time that, again, Southeast Asia is in the spotlight, with countries like Indonesia and Philippines showing signs of renaissance yet again for nuclear energy. In the Philippines, of course, under your leadership for the House Committee on Nuclear Energy, recently a substitute bill was passed and it was approved by the panel, and it will now go to the House. What's different right now, Mark, in your view with regards to?
I think the crisis that was triggered by the invasion of Russia to Ukraine really woke everybody up into the importance of a cheap source of electricity. Prior to the crisis, I'm talking about just in January of 2022, the electricity in my locality in Lingayen was around 10 pesos per kilowatt hour. Now it's 20 pesos. So it has doubled in a span of a few months. No, the cost of imported coal from Indonesia for generating electricity before the crisis was around 3 pesos per kilowatt hour. Now it's over 10 pesos per kilowatt hour. No, so for every 1,000 megawatts of coal power, we would be spending around $1 billion a year in imported value for coal. But if that 1,000 megawatts was nuclear power, we would be spending $30 million instead. So we would have an import savings of around $970 million. That's a huge amount every year. Now, nuclear is especially attractive in the Philippine context because we don't have large quantities of domestic coal or gas. So these are going to be imported. Our Malampaya, which accounts for 20% of our electricity, is running out. There are so many times when the supply, there's more and more water is coming out of the wells instead of gas. So the DOE has given permission, notices to proceed to several large companies to start building their LNG receiving terminals. Now, once these huge investments are made, we are going to be locked into LNG importation for decades to come. That's my big worry, we are not that rich a country. We will be competing with rich countries, Europe, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, China for the supply of LNG in the world. So where will we be? We'll be on the tail end of the line. I don't think we can outbid these countries as far as supply of LNG is concerned. So that's my big worry. No,
So,
it's
so you,
timely. People feel it. Politicians feel it. Their people are complaining. Congressman, my electricity is too expensive. Senator, my electricity is too expensive. Do something about it. They've been doing what they can for the last 37 years, and they have failed miserably. Wind, solar, I voted for that in 2008, the RE Act. They promised us the electricity would become cheap. It hasn't become cheap. It's become more expensive and more unreliable. So that's where we're coming from, and people are seeing that the only thing we have not yet tried in the last 37 years is nuclear power, although we have a 100% complete nuclear power plant. So there's a disconnect, no, between the reality and what they are saying.
fantastic. So, I mean, I guess one step forward is this bill, right? That
Yes,
proposed, which once passed, will no longer provide any legal impediment to build a nuclear power plant, right?
that's right.
What are your thoughts on this bill getting passed in the House, and when do you expect this bill to be debated and to eventually, hopefully, be passed in the House, Mark?
Yes, we are on recess right now until May 8th. Okay. So when our colleagues come back in May 8th, I expect it. I will push right now for the bill to pass through the Committee on Appropriation, because there's an appropriation component. No, we need a budget for this bill, and I hope that it would be referred to the plenary on second reading, so it will pass through the period of amendments and debate and amendments. I hope we win the votes. I hope it is passed on third reading so that it could be transmitted to the Senate. And then the Senate needs to work on it. So I hope that before we finish the first regular session of Congress, before the end of June, we can pass this bill in the House so that the president may or may not talk about it during his State of the Nation address in July. Then it's up to the Senate after that.
Correct.
Of course, I will. Of course, I will also lobby in the Senate. No, we have friends there. I will also give them all the reasons why this should pass. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt, Mark, we cannot underestimate your passion and your drive. You touch on a very interesting point with regards to the president, right? As you know, nuclear energy, unlike other sectors, requires at the end of the day a national position from the country,
That's
right?
right. That's
Um,
right.
the previous administration under Duterte, towards the end of his administration, we saw a slight revival with regards to the goal for nuclear, right? In fact,
Yes.
they were just awaiting for the presidential decree, and they were on the cusp of or if
No,
not,
it's not a presidential decree. It was a executive order, right?
precisely executive order, and they formed a NEPO, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, a NEPIO and a NEPIAC. And then they also officially included nuclear as part of the energy mix. So
Precisely.
officially, it's part of the energy mix. I think we really need to make a strong case to the people so that they will be the one to clamor for it at the end of the day.
Correct. And I mean, under this new administration, President Ferdinand Marcos, right? It seems that he's very pro. I wouldn't use the word pro nuclear, but pro energy security, right? At the end of the day,
Uh, I think he's also tied to his political doctrine of inclusiveness. He wants there to be total buy-in. So he's not going to force the issue. So his secretaries are waiting for him to give an order. And he's waiting for his secretaries to tell him that it's good and we should go ahead. So there is a chicken egg situation right now, and if that is not broken and resolved, then I don't see it moving forward fast enough.
Has there ever been a national census done on public acceptance towards nuclear energy?
Yes, and nuclear energy is accepted. In fact, wanted by the majority of our people, over 70%. However, there's a caveat. A lot of them say, not in my backyard, right? So, in Labrador, which is a town in my district, in my jurisdiction, I have been campaigning among the people for them to accept nuclear plant and locate it in their town in exchange for free electricity in their town. I said, let's index your 2021 electricity consumption. And what you do is you ask for 2 times that amount for every 1,000 megawatts that you will allow to be located in your town. And I'm very close to completing our signature campaign. Our target is 60% of registered voters plus non-registered voters in a few thousand, so that we can really demonstrate that we have a majority consensus in the town. And then I think it's very robust. The local buy-in will be hard to assail after that.
Mark, here's another thought. In some other countries I've observed with regards to driving acceptance of nuclear energy in their backyard is the educational aspect on what economic positive impact having a nuclear power facility in your town, because it will create jobs, right? Another thing is jobs creation, highly qualified, which will pay pretty decent salary. I think maybe more people.
My selling point to the locals is like this. No, I said, imagine if your generation charge is free, the only thing you have to pay for is the distribution charge, which is a local cooperative. So your electricity will be 2 to 3 pesos per kilowatt hour, the cheapest in the entire Philippines. I said, try to imagine if you have the cheapest electricity in the entire Philippines, will businesses come here to locate? Will industry come here to locate? We will be creating thousands of jobs, high-paying jobs. I said a 1,000 megawatt nuclear plant costs around $4 billion US dollars. I said around 65% of that is local civil works. So from the get-go, the construction workers will be hired preferentially from local sources. So we are right away, we create so many jobs which our people really need right now.
Precisely. So jobs, the promise of higher jobs, the promise of free electricity, the fact that currently right now Philippines enjoy strong majority for pro-nuclear. I guess there's really not much that can be done to stop the coming of nuclear energy in the Philippines, Mark.
I hope so. I'm praying. Politics is funny, so you cannot predict, no? But so far, the people in Labrador, they are wanting this because they are the second poorest municipality in my province. And the next door town, Sual, which is not in my district, used to be the same as them. But now, because they are hosting a 1,000 megawatt coal plant owned by San Miguel, they're the second richest municipality in the entire Philippines from taxes, not from free electricity. So in the case of nuclear, there's the taxes, which will make the municipality rich, which is the same as the coal taxes, plus there's the free electricity, which is the sweetener, right? So I think that if this formula works, this will be working everywhere else in the Philippines.
Precisely. And I guess one thing that I want to get your thoughts on. So discussion has also centered with regards to should Philippines revive the Bataan nuclear power plant, or perhaps
I think so.
And look at adopting newer technologies such as SMRs, right? Which has got
Yes, but
new.
SMRs, the light water reactor type, you have two. PWR is NuScale, and BWR X300 from GE.
Yep.
These are the same as the big plants, but smaller, right? More simple. Some of them, most of them, or all of them, the two anyway, don't require reactor coolant pumps. They just rely on convection, so even much simpler. So there's no really new technology as far as light water reactors is concerned, and so there's nothing barring PNPP-1 from running, because the precedent is the Watts Bar 2 nuclear plant in Tennessee, which was initiated 6 years prior to PNPP-1, went many decades at 60% complete, was mothballed, and in 2009, whereabouts, they decided to commission it. In 2016, it became America's newest nuclear plant, was granted a 40-year operating license, is entitled to two 20-year extensions for a total lifetime of 80 years. And it only recently, like few weeks ago, became America's second newest nuclear plant, because Vogtle 3 just opened, just went critical. So now it is the second newest, and soon, when Vogtle 4 runs, it will be the third newest nuclear plant. This plant is older and less advanced than our PNPP-1. So what's the problem?
Correct.
I mean, the leadership in Bataan used the Bataan plant to demonize the old man Marcos, the father of our president now. And so politically, they don't want to backtrack, because they have to eat their pronouncements, and correct the misinformation that they've been spreading all these decades. I think that's the biggest hurdle. Not the safety. The plant is super good, super well built, 100% complete, already finished its hot functional testing in 1984, and went through the OSAR-2 mission of the IAEA and was certified as ready for core loading in May of 1985. So it's a complete plant. We just need to commission it. The Koreans have a timeline for it. If the president decides before December of this year, it can be running by March of 2028. But even if he doesn't decide, when he decides, it's like 4.5 years. It could be running. They have an amount, $1.17 billion to commission that plant. Or let's say there's a price adjustment, because that was an offer given in 2017. It's now 2023. So if it goes to $1.5 billion, it's still a bargain, because the same size plant, brand new, is $3 to $3.5 billion.
Precisely. So I guess, the good thing is that the current president, he's got at least 5 more years to run in his current term.
Yes, open mind, at least an open mind.
Precise. So this is the thing in Southeast Asia, and it's always important to get things going right at the start of any administration. So at least you have the long runway, right?
Yes, yes.
So we hope, Mark and myself included, that Southeast Asia, can finally see a nuclear power plant. I mean, I'm sure
Yes.
you've been following in Indonesia recently. TORCON started pre-license for the SMR project.
Yes.
Some positive development, although Indonesia also has not had presidential or national position on nuclear energy. They are inching closer, but not yet.
Yeah.
So perhaps Philippines can steal the light and get a
Yes.
Please.
I'm excited. 4,000 megawatts of 4 to 6,000 megawatts of nuclear in Labrador will really put our province on the map as a go-to industrial site, because then the energy cost is gonna be so cheap.
Mark, another thought, what about utilities that are looking to retire their coal-fired power plants, right?
That's another thing, no? The
Yeah,
next
yeah,
bill I want to tackle would be fossil fuel phase down and phase out law. So my vision, first step for nuclear over the next 16 years is to be able to switch on 1,000 megawatts per year after 2030, so that by 2045 we could have 16,000 new megawatts of nuclear capacity. We are now 22,000 total. 55% is coal, 20% is gas, so 75% fossil fuels. The gas is running out. We will be replacing it with imported LNG. So that's even more expensive than coal. So 16,000 megawatts matches that. So you could make that standby, or you can even build more nuclear, maybe 32 megawatts, gigawatts, and shut down, make that standby capacity.
precisely, because that's what we're seeing in the UK also. They have laws in place, to basically stop building new coal-fired power plants, and some of
Yeah.
the sites of the old coal-fired power plant can be retrofitted for perhaps SMRs or other,
Yes.
advanced
That
reactors.
would be ideal because they already have the transmission infrastructure already in place,
Precisely,
right?
precisely.
So
But
yeah,
how?
I think the because we're coastal and we're archipelago, maybe the limit there would be minimum height of the reactor, or minimum height where the generator is located, because that's what happened in Fukushima, no? So maybe the generator should be located at least 15 meters above sea level. Then we are okay, right?
Correct. So I guess, Mark, I think, we all know what needs to be done in the Philippines. I think everything's in place already. At the end of the day, I mean, science don't lie, facts don't lie. Philippines is facing high costs of electricity.
The worst.
Nuclear power plant will not only provide cheaper source of electricity, it will of course play a part in combating climate change,
Yes.
reducing natural catastrophes, natural hazards, create jobs, and right now Philippines is enjoying strong support for nuclear energy, over 70%. The work that you're doing to get this bill passed in the House will play its part. So I guess,
Yes.
everything seems to be in place.
You're missing one thing. You're missing one thing.
What's that thing, Mark?
Nuclear plants last for 80 years, at least. Maybe soon, because US NRC is hearing them to go past 100 years. Meaning, we don't have to revisit the problem for 3 generations of Filipinos. We can concentrate on our life, not focus on a problem. Every few decades, it comes back because the wind turbine broke down. It's time to replace it. I mean, solar power competing with rice farming, stuff like that, right? I mean, we don't have to worry about that. The footprint of a nuclear plant is so tiny compared to all these other sources. You don't need to build a pairing plant of gas to back up the wind and solar. You don't need a huge BESS investment, battery storage system, or pumped hydroelectric storage. I mean, nuclear can benefit from those, but it needs the least, and it's the most reliable charger for these things. So even to enhance the reliability of BESS or PHES, nuclear is the best to charge those things up. So there's so multiple roll-on benefits to having nuclear.
Correct. So, you and me and most of educated people, we are all aware of these benefits. It's getting
Yes,
all this anti-nuclear and all those
yes,
people in
becoming obsolete.
maybe don't need to be commission. If only we can do that. But unfortunately, some of this.
Yes, we need to convince people. We need to explain. We need to enlighten them. I pray that a lot of these people will have an epiphany, because sometimes those that are anti, when when the light lights up on their inside their head, they become very, very passionately pro nuclear. And these are the fighters, the ones that have been fighting us for decades. When they switch side, they also become strong fighters for your cause. Yeah.
And you know what, Mark? At the end of the day, for us who are pro-nuclear, we are not anti-renewable. In fact, we feel that
No, we're not.
but the other way around, what you're
but
seeing.
we need to state the facts.
Yes, of course.
We need to state the limitation so that we can be more, nuclear can be more appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, no. But what we see the other way around is that those who are pro-renewables are anti-nuclear, which is bizarre.
Exactly. Not good.
Bizarre.
Not good.
Precisely. Precisely. So let's pray. Of course, Easter is just past and all.
Yes.
Hopefully, we can see some great developments in the Philippines, and Philippines can hopefully achieve its full capability both on the economic front and other
Yes.
fronts
Yes.
with the energy.
If we solve electricity as far as price, reliability is concerned, then we can attend to making our lives better. We have one problem less to worry about.
I fully agree.
Yes.
Fully agree. Well, Mark, thank you very much for your time. I believe this won't be the last time we hear of you. I hope to
Yes.
hear you again, maybe after July, hopefully after the presidential
Yes.
election. And
Yes.
I'm sure you have a bigger smile when the president officially says that Philippines
Yes.
go for nuclear.
I hope. I hope. Thank you, Zaf. Thank you for this interview. Thank
Thank
you for the opportunity.
Thank you. You have a nice day, yeah?